Google Chrome. So the Department of Justice, which is one of the reasons why I was trying to understand how bloated is this department. The Department of Justice is obviously suing and bringing Google to the front of the congregation, and they're trying to say that they're a monopoly and they want to break up the monopoly. And one of the ways that they want to do it is to force Google to sell the Chrome browser. That's a big deal. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
We're following some breaking news overnight that could impact almost anyone who uses the internet. The Justice Department going to federal court hoping to force Google to make some major changes. NBC's business correspondent Brian Chung here with some details on this breaking news. Brian, what more can you tell us?
Yeah, well, good morning, Craig. I mean, imagine Google without Chrome or Android. That's what the Justice Department and a number of states proposed in court overnight, breaking up the big tech company by having Google sell its popular web browser Chrome and potentially its popular phone product Android, adding the company should be
Come on now. Come on now. Let me let y'all hear the rest of it.
prohibited from buying companies to scale up its ad services and AI products. Now, this comes 3 months after a federal judge called Google a monopolist for defaulting its search engine on Chrome as well as Android phones, and taking issue with Google making deals with other companies like Apple to make Google search the default on iPhones, which allows the tech giant to gain more users and data to further entrench its dominance in the market. Now, in a response to the filing, Google called these new proposals extreme and wildly overbroad, adding that it would harm Americans and America's global technology leadership, and that it would have to slow AI investment at a critical time. And just to give you some perspective here, Google Chrome has 3.45 billion users and controls about 2/3 of the global browser market, according to the website StatCounter. Now, as for the next steps here, Google has a month to file its own suggested fixes. The judge will hear arguments from both sides in April and expected to rule by August. And Google, by the way, has vowed to appeal. So all of this, guys, far from over.
All right, so let's deep dive into it a little bit. I got Yahoo Finance to break down a little bit deeper into it. And on our next Stock Club, I'm going to talk about the ramifications of what could possibly happen, how that will affect the technology sector, and if this is something that we need to be worried about and making sure that we adjust our portfolios. Now, Google is not a part of my portfolio at the moment, but I do want to have a conversation about it in Stock Club. But let me give you a little bit more insight on that.
Google could be forced to break up. The Department of Justice is pushing for Google to divest its Chrome browser, plus divert any interest the tech giant has in search distribution products and search AI products. The formal request that comes after a ruling in August found the company illegally monopolized the search market. Yahoo Finance's senior legal reporter Alexis Keenan joins us now with more on the DJ's proposals and everything surrounding Google parent company Alphabet right now. Hey, Alexis.
Yeah, so this is a big court filing. We've been waiting for it. There were some leaks earlier in the week by a Bloomberg source. But this proposal by the DOJ, this is the formalized ask for Google's illegal monopolization of the search and search text advertising markets that came down in DC in a district court in August. The DOJ's proposals, what they really do is they center on search distribution. So you have to have that in the back of your mind, is how does Google get its search product out into...
Let me read this real quick. I'm gonna go back into it. Sometimes Anton is so negative. He never wants to admit he's wrong. A consultant can be a position within a firm. It is a position within a firm. Why would you speak to someone that way? Because I don't give a... All right, listen, let me rephrase it, because I've changed myself in 2024 and I'm moving into 2025 and we move in corporate. Because I don't give a freak. It just don't hit the same when I say it that way. But I know that they watch me in the churches and stuff like that, and they ask me to at least tone it down for the Millionaire Morning Show and y'all in corporate America. But I don't give a F. I don't care what people's thinking and how they feel. I'm not trying to make you feel better. I'm trying to give you a reality check. The only thing I care about is the truth. I don't care about your feelings. Why would you speak to someone that way? Because I want you to make $250,000 instead of making $80,000. Now, you care about how you feel, or you care about what your bank account look like? If your daddy and your mama would have talked to you the way that I'm talking to you, then you might not be in a position being underpaid and thinking that just because they gave you a title, that makes you correct in what you're saying. I'm not trying to make you feel good about yourself. I'm trying to help you to feed your family better. I want you to live the life that I live. I want you to live better than I live. I want you to be greater. I'm not trying to coddle you. Listen, if what I said offends you, then you don't need to be in corporate America in the first place, because it's way worse. What we say about you when you leave out of the interview is way worse than the advice that I'm giving you that's going to help you level up. You want the truth, or you want somebody to make you feel good? Is this about being right or wrong, or is this about getting a bag? Are you trying to debate with me about being right or wrong, or are you trying to get a bag? I tell you what, I got time today. I got a couple minutes. We're going to go over this Google thing. And this is just for people that think that I'm wrong when it comes to corporate America in this position. So, whether you are the guy that said that he was making 80K as a senior consultant, or the person that said that I was wrong, go ahead. I'm allowed for you to call in. Don't call in and say, Anton, I'm rocking with you. I think that you're right. I just want to give you your flowers. I don't want to hear none of that. There you go. And you don't even have to be on camera. All you got to do, that's for you. I'm not dropping a link in more than one time. Help me to understand where I'm wrong.
To the world as you go through these different asks. And I'm going to go through some of the main ones here. And you mentioned one already, big one. The DOJ wants Google to have to divest its Chrome browser. The browser holds 61% of the browser market, and also to not own any browsers for 5 years. There are also asks for Google to divest any interest at all in rival search products, as well as AI-based query products, a big one there. And they want them to do that within 6 months of whatever.
That would be absolutely devastating. Google is not a company. Google is not a company that can compete going forward in 2025 if the Justice Department was to ever to get what they want. And I'm not sure if this is a strategy as the big ask, like we like to say, so that Google can then negotiate with them to ultimately get to a better space. But this is absolutely out of control. Nowhere in the world, listen, the majority of Google's revenue is coming from AdSense that is then generated as a result of being shown on Chrome. That's the majority of their revenue is coming from AdSense. So when people then advertise and they want their stuff to show up first, when you put in certain keywords, and that has been the thing that is powering Google, then the majority of its revenue, overwhelmingly for the entirety of its existence, if you're telling them to sell the very product that allows for them to be successful, then there is no company anymore. There is no company. And then they want them to divest interest in the AI-based query products. So basically, Google's AI products, similarly to how Apple Intelligence is now going to be powering and be a part of everything that Apple does, and ChatGPT is now going to be powering everything that Microsoft is a part of. You're telling me that they're telling them to divest from these products that they've spent billions and billions of dollars investing in for research and development in order for them to be able to compete on an AI level, and they're still supposed to be competitive? Get the hell out of here, bro. That's crazy. You crazy. It's not even a company anymore after that.
Deal is finalized here. Also, there's a contingent divestment for Android, the operating system, and that would only come into play if other remedies are not effective. Now, what we were
AdSense and Chrome is linked like that. Why do you think that they spend so much money giving Apple upwards of $20 billion a year for them to, by default, register, or for Google, when you put in a search query, when you open up any kind of browser or whatever, by default, it's going to go to Google. It's going to go to Chrome. It's going to go to use all of these browsers. It's going to go to that by default when you put in a search. It's going to go to google.com. Literally, the minute that you put anything inside of, whether you're using Safari or whatever, it's going to go to Google. And if Chrome is the most used browser, then that means that they would have to spend even more money than the $20 billion that they're using for Apple by default to go to Google. that allows for them to be able to generate the revenue that they're making from AdSense. AdSense is very much integrated into the Chrome browser. Think about it. If it's the most used browser, then how is it not generating the most revenue from AdSense itself? The first thing that shows is the sponsored posts from AdSense that then allows for, and if the advertisers are not complaining about it, then why are you complaining that it's a monopoly? AdSense does generate revenue regardless of browser, but AdSense generate the most revenue in Google Chrome because it is the most used browser. Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Expecting in this case, and really that goes to the heart of this case, is an ask to not divest, but to end contracts that secure search, Google search, as the default on dozens of devices.
What's next? They're going to ask them to get rid of YouTube too?
Right? All kinds of mobile devices, laptop, desktops, etc. But that's mostly, if it happened, it would impact Apple. Why? Because Apple's on the take in these agreements for roughly about $20 billion a year.
Like I said,
that's the
I don't see anybody calling in. Why those people ain't calling in so that they can hold me accountable for being wrong? Let me put that in the chat one more time.
bulk of it. All told, with all of the devices included, it's about $26 billion a year. Now, those are 2022 numbers. Also in this request, for Google to have to sell its search data.
You can't steal their IP if you're acquiring smaller software companies. That's not stealing their IP. That's actually buying up the company. Come on, man. All right, let me stop.
That is huge for Google. That includes its indexing of its search engine. That includes a lot of the algorithms that it uses to provide what it thinks are quality searches. And Google has long protested this very strongly, saying that is our intellectual property. It would have to be paid for. Now, the DOJ says it would have to be offered as far as the index on a nominal cost basis for rivals and potential rivals. As far as ad data, that's the other part of this case, the search text advertising. They say, well, they want Google to give that away for free. So we can expect that on December 20th, a month from now, when Google will have an opportunity to put forth its suggestions for remedies, that they are going to push back on each and every one of these suggestions. In a statement on Monday, they did react to the leak saying
I
the
don't
DOJ
see anybody in the back. So if he's saying that he's calling in, I don't see anybody. I don't believe that. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat one more time. There you go. There's nothing ringing and there's nothing calling in. You can call in.
continues to push what they called a radical agenda. They said the agenda would harm consumers, developers, and American technological leadership at the wrong time.
Yeah, I think that this is a mistake. It isn't preventing people from having choice. If you want to, you can go and download, you know, I use both browsers. I use multiple different browsers. I use Firefox, I use Safari. I use Microsoft's browser. I don't even know what it's called. What is Microsoft's browser? Because I use it for corporate. You know what I'm saying? But come on, man. Come on, bro. See, Southland, I listen to you. Southland. Says, thank you for not using profanity because I'm one of the ones that watch you in church every day and I'm always nervous you might go there. I do not watch the night program so you can let it rip. I am not using profanity. I've been on top of it, Southland. I've been on top of it. Here on the Millionaire Morning Show, we've made the turn. And we're going to make more of an effort on the rest of our platforms to make the turn and the transition because we want to be better. We want to continue to, it's called Edge, you're right. We want to make the adjustment and we want to make the transition to be better, Southland Event Center. So thank you for listening to me in church. Thank you for holding me down and thank you for being a part of what we do over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. Yes, Anton is changing. Now, Monday night, but other than that, you know what I'm saying? We're going to figure it out.